Tonight on the Super Important Show, the coolest yearbook ever, the worst way to get out of a ticket, and the best Cool as Ice trivia I've ever heard in my life. I am one of your hosts, Destin Diodato, and joining me, as always, is my amazing co-host, Heather Jules Booth. How you doing, Heather Jules Booth?
I'm ready and raring to go.
Cool. And tonight we are joined by special guest, self-proclaimed geek, and also comedian, Julia Lunetta. Julia, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing all right. I'm very excited to be here. Full disclosure, Heather and I are both on red shirts, so I want to head off any accusations of collusion or anything.
Colluding for what specifically?
For comedy.
I don't know.
Okay.
Clout. That's
clout,
what
exactly.
For,
yeah.
Right. Clout, money.
Yeah.
But
I normally lose.
I wouldn't know.
I normally lose this show, so you're already gonna win.
You're definitely gonna lose. Yeah, you're gonna lose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already been lost.
Julia, tell people a little bit about who you are, what you do, other than your avoiding of collusion.
As I said, I'm one of I'm one of a number of women in red shirts. I occasionally sing with I used to sing with Uncommon Chord in the city. Maybe try to get back together with that. I have a day job in tech, and I try to redeem my soul with what I do in the off hours.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah.
Heather, are you ready to get us into this thing?
I'm definitely ready to get us into this. All right. Hello, everybody. On this Monday, the 22nd of May, world you crazy. Here's our story. High school yearbook ignites controversy with stories about sex, drugs, and alcohol.
Awesome.
Surprise, surprise. Well, it is a surprise because it's a Missouri high school. The yearbook staff says that they are simply trying to record the real history of the year. So an award-winning student yearbook, so keep this in mind that this yearbook wins awards. It's found themselves at the center of a controversy after printing pages
I think we
know that mom of two, Nikki Walker, couldn't wait to get her hands on the newest edition of the yearbook because her son is in this yearbook. Apparently the yearbook is a, quote, really big deal in the town, I guess because it is, in fact, award-winning. And then the article wants you to know that Walker's excitement quickly turned to disgust because you start flipping through, and it's really nice. You see swim teams and basketball teams and their accomplishments. And then you turn the page, and it's a page about hookup culture.
What?
There's a WTW. What does that mean? What would you? I'm too old. What does WTW mean? I don't know. What?
I don't know. What begins with W? That's like something.
Snapchat. Something. It reads, "What WDD? Do they really want to know what you're doing?
Yeah.
They only ever snap you after 11. It's hookup culture. I see chat is on fire. What to wear? Maybe.
Oh, could be.
Maybe want to wiggle, who to whisk. Oh my God. Oh, here we go. Topping informing us. It is what's the word?
Nice.
I think that's probably the real one, although I do appreciate.
Yeah. Thank you.
I like the idea that teens are texting each other like fashion tips as opposed to cyberbullying each other.
So this, so the mom is horrified to discover that the yearbook, in fact, contains sections written by students about marijuana, alcohol, and hookup culture. She said there was a picture of vape pods and beer and surveys where the kids talk about preferring drinking to smoking. It says there are also quotes from students who abstain from all of these things. One student said, well, I don't think young people should be drinking alcohol. And the mother was like, I thought it couldn't get any worse. And then I landed on the hookup culture page. There are things that mention emergency contraception, pregnancy tests, condoms. Students talk about weird places they hook up. the mom says, what kind of sicko is allowing this sort of stuff to be published? And the article wants you to know it's not the faculty members, and that the school officials do not engage in any prior review of the yearbook. It is completely determined by and reflected only the views of the student staff and not the officials. And the students, they reached out to the students, and the editor-in-chief of this yearbook said, as high school journalists, we're simply trying to record the real history of the year. Yearbook is a form of journalism, so there's good, sad, happy, bad, just like high schoolers' lives. And it's important to give them voices and not be afraid to talk about these types of matters. It says that the principal praised them and said that they're empowering student journalists to use their.
I think Heather froze. I think we lost Heather for a second. Oh,
yep.
We lost her for a second there, Heather.
I'm saying people were mad. The mom is mad, but the principal stuck up for it and said this is real journalism, and that this is a real, real representation of what's going on in these kids' lives.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of love that just
because kids are clearly having way more fun in high school than I did.
Yes, same. I mean, I didn't know what most of this stuff was in high school, but
yeah, I mean,
they're talking about it.
Don't get me wrong. I am in a similar boat, but I was also very aware that a lot of this was happening, and it does feel like it's shitty to pretend like it didn't. Like, it's shitty to assume that everybody was just going to church every Sunday and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm glad that there is some. I don't want to say like there's some record of it, but it feels like there's nowhere that actually records the stuff that you remember from from high school. Like, there is hey, here's a picture of the chess team, but there isn't like here's that party that like people went to, or here's that whatever kind of thing that people went to. So I'm glad that somebody's like doing something like that.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's smart.
Yeah, Julia, you were saying that was not your experience?
No, no. I was aware that kids were drinking, but well, I don't know. Then again, however many years ago, weed was definitely far less easy to get than it is now, far less legal. So I guess I can sort of understand how that became more of a thing.
Yeah, I personally went to very few parties, but one of my best friends worked at the local deli, which was one of the few places that underage kids could go buy alcohol because he would sell it to them. So I at least always knew when the parties were, because like a bunch of people would come in there and buy beer for said party. I didn't go until like senior year, and I was so mad when I went senior year because then everybody was like, "Why didn't you come to all the other parties?" And I was like, "You guys never invited me to the other parties. I would have come to the other parties. I didn't want to just be like." And the one that I went to was thrown by another person who I was supposed to be friends with, who intentionally didn't invite me because I wasn't cool enough. And I was like, fuck you, dude. I know where you live, so I'm going to go there. And what are you going to do about it? And he didn't do anything about it. And I had a good time and found out I should have been going to parties the whole time.
There you go.
Oh, well. I got really good at ping pong in the meantime. So
hey, that's something.
Yeah.
Does that carry over to beer pong, those skills? Or?
No, not at all.
No? Oh, no? Never mind.
Not at all. Not at all. Because like, I had no idea. Because I was very good at ping pong, but it like everybody has a decent amount of skill at beer pong, whereas few people like have really good skill at ping pong. So like I could beat most people at ping pong, but I just joined the rest of the group at beer pong, sadly. So Heather, what else on this story?
I don't think there's that much else to talk about other than, I think to me the most interesting thing is that this is happening in Missouri and that they are so free and freely allowing the kids to write this stuff, which I think is great. But I am surprised by it because that felt like like when I saw the headline, I was like, oh, this is going to be like some New York school or something. So I was surprised that it wasn't. But I think it's cool that it wasn't. And you know what? You can't stop people from talking about these things and living these things. And like, yeah. And it's an award-winning yearbook, clearly for a reason. So I had no idea yearbooks got awards. I didn't either, actually. Yeah. Yeah, same.
Yeah. I am impressed by the kids who like were open and honest about the drinking stuff because they knew their parents were going to get that yearbook.
Right.
So like they knew a conversation was coming. And I guess there were always like I will say that when I went to that one party that I'm referring to in high school, like I went to my parents first and I was like, hey, I'm going to this party. I just want you to know I'm not going to drink or anything like that. I just want you to know that I'm going. And they were like, no, drink. You're a senior. Go ahead. Go do whatever you want. Like, that's what seniors do. And I was like, wait, what? Like, okay. So I guess, like, at least my parents, like, assumed that I was partying in a way that I wasn't. So I guess there are parents out there who are, like, going to be super down with it. And maybe you just know that going into your yearbook confession. Anyway. Do we want to move on to story number 2? Are you ready, Julia?
Lieutenant? Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so in Springfield, Colorado, last week, a man was pulled over by police for suspicion of drunk driving. And in an attempt to get out of the ticket, the driver reportedly tried to switch places with the dog in the passenger seat in order to claim that the dog was driving, not him. Apparently, on top of that all, this genius plan was carried out in full view of the cop.
Awesome.
Just smart decisions all the way down the line. My favorite, actually, I gotta say, my favorite tidbit from the story is that apparently there were 2 people in the back seat of the car, but he decided he wanted to swap with the dog. He thought that was a better idea than like the humans who were in the back seat.
So here's my question to you, or my question to the group here. In what world does the cops going like, oh, you guys had the dog driving, then by all means move along. Like, isn't it the dog was driving equally as bad, if not worse, than drunk driving? Like, where does that? I mean, I think where does that fall?
Maybe he thought it was like the Air Bud rule. If dogs are not explicitly disallowed from driving, then it must be okay.
Oh yeah, no, of course that makes sense. Yeah, that's true. I did read the book before you got your license, and it did not reference animals. Cool. Okay. What else? What else?
It's just, I don't know. Like, I have questions. There are questions, obviously. Like, why? I want to know why the dog was in the passenger seat and not like a human. It just feels like, I don't know. Like, if you get an Uber or something and it pulls up and there's a dog in the passenger seat, I'm not sure I'm getting into the car.
Yeah, I would be like, what? I might be like, wow, cool, but I might also be like, what's happening?
Yeah. So, or I don't know. I guess maybe this is a secret. Would you rather? Would you rather get into a car where a dog is driving or where the driver is visibly drunk?
Oh God. Jeez.
Yeah, that's Chad, if you have an opinion, we'd love to hear. I wonder, like, okay, imagine it's nobody in the cars. Like, imagine nobody in the car owns the car, right? So if a cop pulls up and a dog is driving, who gets the ticket? Like, you can't give a ticket to a dog. Or can you? Like who gets in trouble?
If I didn't show up to the court date because my dog ate the ticket.
Right, because my dog, because you get, like... 646 guy is going with the dog over the drunk driving person.
Yeah, going with the driving dog. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah,
I mean, you might have better luck.
I know, famous driving animals. There's, of course, Toonses.
Toonses, yeah, we all know how that went. But still, yeah.
I don't know. Does Spuds McKenzie ever drive?
I don't think so.
He's too busy hooking up, man. He's too busy hooking up to be going somewhere.
Drinking beer.
Yeah.
Didn't he drink beer? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
What a crazy spokesman. Yeah. No, I think you're right, because I was going to say Bud Light too. That's crazy. I'm just stopping to think about how cute that mascot was, and it was really just a big beer ad.
Yeah. But he was a party animal. Yeah. 646 putting out, so that was always drunk.
They had t-shirts, like, oh God. The 90s were a weird time.
Yeah.
Well, we remember it. So
we do.
Yeah.
That's true.
We still remember the Noid, and that made
oh my God.
No fucking sense at all. That was something they just made up.
Absolutely no sense. Why was that a thing that existed?
Yeah.
Do you know why they no longer do it?
Why?
Why
No.
Domino's stopped doing it?
Tell us.
There was a guy whose last name was actually Noid, who could have perhaps benefited from access to mental health resources, let's say.
Okay.
And he took it upon himself to try and I forget exactly what he did, but something that like definitely involved police and everything else. And Domino's was like, nope, we're done.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think he tried to shoot up like a Domino's or something like that because he was like
fun.
so mad about it. So yeah,
It happened in America, so it almost certainly involved guns.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Yep.
That took a turn.
Wow.
Cool.
I see. I stopped myself from bringing up the yearbook story I had, which is when a yearbook from the class of 1985, before my time, was apparently admitted into evidence in a federal terrorism case.
Wow.
What?
For what? Like now we need to know why.
So I went to the same high school as Tim McVeigh, the
Ah.
Oklahoma City bomber.
Oh no.
Again, he was 85. He was class of 85, and I was later than that. But like having international media descend upon your like small high school in the middle of a rural area is a lot.
Yeah.
And especially when they came back the year after.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
But yeah, one of my suppose unsurprisingly, some of the teachers who were there when he was there were still teaching. And my Spanish teacher got called to testify at his trial because she taught. I think she was teaching English at that time, but she had McVeigh in her class, and apparently, and she came back from this testifying, and instead of Spanish class, literally like she pulled like the lights, she turned the lights off, pulled the blinds, and we all just like sat, and she basically told us the entire experience, which involved apparently getting shown photocopied pages of Tim McVeigh's yearbook, in which, and I don't remember if this was a specific example or not, but it was something like, somebody wrote, "Hey Tim, you're dynamite," or something like that, and apparently the DA basically took that as, oh well, was Mr. McVeigh often referred to with explosives related nicknames? And it was just absolutely ridiculous.
It's just 1985, and that's what you said. But still, oh yikes! Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that did not happen in my high school. So I am
same.
both happy and like a little jealous. Like, but
yeah, it's one of those things like I will never be the most famous person who graduated from high school.
But you know what? I also think that's okay. I think given the options,
given
that's
the
okay.
petition, I'm gonna let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is presenting you with a challenge that I don't think you should accept. But,
Yes, I'm not. Yeah,
Absolutely not.
I have no intention of anything that would get me on more lists than I may already be on.
Yeah. I know I've mentioned this on the show before, but I used to do a podcast called The Comedy Nerds, and for a brief period of time, we were banned in China, and I don't know why, but you couldn't access our website or our podcast in China, and it was such a sense of pride on my account that I was just like, yay, we did something to piss off the Chinese government. And then I realized like a couple years later that I had to go to China, and there was like a small part of me that was like, am I going to get arrested when I get off the plane? Like, am I, like,
Yeah.
It was probably a dumb thing, and I'm probably not on a list, but maybe I'm on a list. So like when I actually like successfully got to my hotel, I was just like, whew, like I'm not in a Chinese prison somewhere.
Possibly a bad idea to schedule a podcast recording from China, but
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
China is I don't want to get us banned from China, so I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it where it is.
Wow.
Are we ready to move on to our final story of this?
I think we've long since moved on from that story.
Yes, I think that's true. Yes.
Okay, so our third story, it's a quick one because like there's not a lot to it, but I just want to make sure that there's something that we share with the world. So Walmart was selling a T-shirt about recycling. And you're thinking, how can a T-shirt be bad about recycling?
That's what I thought when I saw the headline.
Right. So it did the whole like reuse, renew and stuff like that. But what they did not realize, and I'll just bring up the shirt so that we kind of get to it. Recycle, reuse, renew, rethink. I think they could have gotten away if they didn't go with the rethink. I think they could have just
or
been
just
fine.
change the order.
Yeah, change the order. Exactly. Also, rethink is not really part of it. Like reduce, reuse, recycle. It's kind of what I usually think. Renew, even rethink, but also, just use a different.
Maybe whoever's job it was to make the t-shirt designs thought they'd try to slip one past and somehow.
I kind of feel like that. I kind of feel like they were like maybe. And honestly,
somebody really doesn't like their job.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked because
it's $5 shirt.
Yeah, they were in stores all over the place. All over the place in Canada, to be specific. This shirt, for reasons I don't fully understand, was only available in Walmarts in Canada.
Yeah,
because maybe in Canada they do use the rethink. We don't.
Oh, that's a good point. We don't say rethink. Maybe Canadians do. Yeah.
So the shirt was.
You figured nobody in America would want to buy a shirt that was pro recycling.
Also,
that's true. Yeah. At a Walmart for sure, 100% for sure. So then everybody started to read the word downwards and discovered that it was mildly inappropriate.
Said something else.
Yeah. It is not
fun poems.
Unfortunately, chat, the shirt is no longer available in Walmart. As soon as they saw this, they pulled it off the shelves. Supposedly, it's still available online.
Clones of it are available on like Zazzle or Redbubble.
There are clones, yes.
Yeah.
Because I googled this when I saw this story. I actually read this ahead of time. Honestly, because your headline, like, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I did peek at this story, and the second I saw it, I was like, can I get this shirt? Yeah. And it's just clones at this point.
I am annoyed at that at some point somebody figured out the see you next Tuesday thing, because I have therapy every Tuesday, and every time I leave it, I want to say, all right, well, I'll see you next Tuesday. And I was like, I can't, like, I stop myself every time because I don't want my therapist to think that I'm like, aggressively ending the call.
Yeah.
So I'm very annoyed that's see you next Tuesday has become another way of saying that. So anyway, if you want to buy the shirt, as we were saying, you can buy fakes of it, but you cannot buy the original. I'm sure you can buy the original on Etsy and stuff like that.
I'm sure it's going to pop up on
eBay. On eBay. Yeah.
eBay. It's going to be on eBay. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are our three stories. This was a quick one, but I also have some honorable mentions for this week. I believe I have 3 honorable mentions of stories that were a fun title, but didn't quite make it to be a full story, even though I don't know why. The one we just did was a full story, but it was a weird week, guys. Just go with me on it. So our first one is, please don't use guns to fish, Kansas officials warn. There's apparently a lot of people have just been trying to shoot fish in the water. It turns out sometimes bullets ricochet off the water.
In the barrel.
Right.
You get them in a barrel first, then you shoot the fish.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this.
But for folks who are wondering, you can hunt fish with a bow and arrow or a crossbow. That is perfectly legal in the state of Kansas. You however cannot use a firearm. You can use a firearm for literally anything else.
For everything else, right.
Yeah. But you cannot use it for fishing. Second story, Minnesota man invents beer-powered motorcycle. It could have been any sort of liquid, because ultimately it's sort of like a steam-powered thing, but he made it specifically around beer. This is, I don't remember the other 2 things, but this is his 3rd beer-powered machine that he has created. So he's driving around town. The motorcycle can go like 150 miles an hour on beer. He plans on riding it for a while and then putting it in a museum of some kind that accepts beer-powered motorcycles. Yeah.
Good Lord.
I mean, this is his 3rd. Maybe he's just planning to fully stock the beer-powered museum himself.
Yeah. And then at some point in the post-apocalyptic world, when all we have is beer, then this guy will be king. And then finally,
what?
I didn't read the article, but suspicious object leads police to shut down State Street but it was just a can of ravioli on wheels. I
That's
decided
ridiculous.
I
Are you
didn't
kidding
want.
Headline takes you
Oh my
places.
Yeah. Look this one up, everybody. I decided I didn't want to know any more about this than the title gave me. I just want to envision what a ravioli on wheels, a can of ravioli on wheels, would do to scare everybody. So
That's
please, yeah.
How big was it? How big a can was it?
You gotta look it up. You gotta look it up. That's the only way you're gonna know.
I know, I get it. I understand.
Yeah. Some articles you can't read. Some articles you just have to let live in your imagination forever. And this is
Wow.
one of those. So those are our honorable mentions for this week, which brings us, guys, to What the Fact. Before we get to What the Fact, this is the moment again where I tell everybody to please like and subscribe. It helps us a ton and lets other people know that you're enjoying the content. It lets you know when new content is coming up, and you can even hit that little bell, and it'll give you a warning, or not a warning, that's the wrong word, an alert when we have a new episode. Warnings.
Give you a warning.
Yeah, warning's the wrong one there. Please.
Warning if you don't subscribe.
Yeah, please take a moment to do that right now. We would very much appreciate it. Which then brings us, as I mentioned, to What the Fact. For new viewers, the way What the Fact works is I will ask 3 questions to everybody else, and you fun folks in chat, you will try and guess the answers to it, and hopefully you'll learn something and you'll laugh along the way. So let's get right into it. Julia, just so you know, I'm coming to you first. So get ready. Okay. Circleville, Ohio has a lot of people with the last name Hitler. This story references like the 40s. So these are people who were in the 40s. I just want to be clear. They still should have changed their name from Hitler, but Circleville had it was just filled with Hitlers. So I will say that 2 of the names on this list are real people that lived in Circleville. One is one that I made up. I need you to tell me which was the one that I made up. All right, you ready?
All right.
Was there a George Washington Hitler? Was there a Happy Days Hitler?
Oh no.
Or was there a Dr. Gay Hitler?
All right.
2 of them are real.
Pretty sure I've seen
One of them is
meme
made up.
with Dr. Gay Hitler in it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say I think that one's real.
You think that one's real?
Yeah.
What town?
Circleville.
Circleville, Ohio.
Circleville, Ohio.
I'm trying to think because I actually had a job at one point writing trivia questions and figuring out the bluffs and everything else. So Happy Days is pretty wild, but is it wild because it's real or is it wild because you made it up?
I don't know. You'll have to decide.
I'm gonna go for B and C.
You're gonna say B and C are real, and George Washington Hitler is
I think
made
Happy
up.
Days Hitler is too bizarre not to be real.
Okay, Heather, what are your thoughts?
I think
It seems like we have one vote for George Washington.
we have one for A.
Yeah,
I'm
we
kind
have
of
2
leaning
for
towards
Hitler.
Yeah, that's true. I'm kind of leaning towards A also. Because A feels like something where you'd be like, of course it's this, but it's actually not. So I'm going to go with A.
You're gonna go with A. Okay.
Yeah.
So it seems like across the board, everybody feels like George Washington Hitler is
Yes.
the one that's made up.
Okay,
646
646 now says locking in B.
B. Okay.
As his answer.
Guess what, guys? 646 guy is correct. It is Happy Days Hitler is the made up one. There was a George Washington and Dr. Gay Hitler.
Wow.
So, if you go to Circleville, Ohio, there's 10 streets that are named Hitler as well. There's just it's all over the place. They had an opportunity to change it, but they did not. So
they still have an opportunity to change
right,
it.
True.
right. They could be doing
Truth.
it, but they have not. Which brings us to question number 2. This is another one where 2 of them are real and 1 of them is fake. And these are town mottos that people put on signs and shit like that. So which one of these is fake? Heather, I'm going to come to you first. You ready?
Okay.
Is it Gas Kansas, don't pass gas, stop and enjoy it?
hope this is real.
Is it Hooker, Oklahoma? It's a location, not a vocation.
Wow.
Or is it Orgasm, North Dakota? You'll want to come here again and again. Two of these are real. One of them is fake. Which one did I make up? Heather, what's your thought?
I think you made up C. I think C is just a little too on the nose and a little too. The yearbook parents would be very upset about it.
Okay.
So I'm going with C.
All right. That's your prerogative.
Are all of these? Can you confirm that all three of these are real towns? All three of these towns actually exist?
I am not going to tell you. I am not giving you any information beyond the information that I've given you.
All the information you need is on the task. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Orgasm, North Dakota.
Okay.
I feel like they try to stay away from that.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Okay. Okay. If chat's got any, I don't think chat's got any votes. So.
Don't have any votes
The
from
Gas
chat yet.
Kansas one has to be real. It's
Has
just,
to be real. It's too good.
I don't want to live in a world where that's not real.
Yeah, and I like B too.
Yeah.
Even if they're slightly wrong, but I like it.
You guys got me on this case. It is Orgasm isn't real.
Sure, Dustin.
Somebody's gonna screenshot
Dustin.
that. And, all right.
Yeah. So that was the one I made up. Okay. Our last question of the day, is about the movie Cool as Ice. Anybody who knows me knows that I love the movie Cool as Ice. And for those of you who don't know,
starring America's Gift to Rap.
Yeah, starring Cool as Ice in 1991. Vanilla Ice made a movie known as Cool as Ice. It was horrifically bad in all the ways you could want it to be bad. One thing that it did have was a cinematographer by the name of, I'm going to call that Janis Kamnitsky, but I don't really know exactly how you pronounce that. He was a cinematographer for Cool as Ice, and if you've seen it, cinematography is wonderful. He went on shortly after this movie to do a bunch of other movies. He had a prolific career. Which of the movies did cinematographer Cool as Ice, continue on to make? Did he make Minority Report? Did he make Saving Private Ryan? Or did he make Schindler's List after making Cool as Ice?
Oh.
Julia, I'm going to come to you.
Oh, man.
Because, I mean, I'm sure you've seen Cool as Ice, so it's like, think about this.
I've seen it once many years ago. I didn't see it in theaters. I wasn't that cool at the time, or I don't know.
I'm a little ashamed.
I don't know that I was ever that kind of cool to go see Vanilla Ice in theaters, but actually no, I take that back. I feel like I went to, or no, I saw the. Sorry, I'm thinking about the thing he did with the Ninja Turtles for the second Ninja Turtle movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I've seen that, but
yes.
Anyway,
the Ninja concert.
So Schindler's List. What were the other two?
Okay. Minority Report, Saving Private Ryan, and Schindler's List. And for the record, I owned Cool as Ice.
Wow.
My story about
VHS?
Yes. My story about that is always that I worked for VH1 at the time, and they needed to use a clip from Cool as Ice, and they reached out to the movie theater, the movie production company, for a copy of it, and they didn't have it. So I had to bring in my VHS cassette for them to dub. So the copy of Cool as Ice that VH1 has is a dub of my cassette, because the production company did not have it anymore.
That's amazing.
That is an amazing personal anecdote. That should, yeah.
Yeah, I bought it for $7.
I've seen these movies. I'm trying to think. Which of these did I perhaps see that name on the screen?
Yeah, 646 guy is very adamant about knowing the answer to this. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it because they've gotten every other one right. So
I'm gonna say A.
You're gonna go with A. Minority Report. Okay. What about you, Heather?
I've gone in between B and C since we started this question. I feel like it's C because you're deliberately setting up a question to be like, like the two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like B has like gone on record for having incredible cinematography. And I feel like that's also hilarious that you do Cool as Ice and that you'd be great for Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And we've got info from 646 in the chat.
Yep.
He's saying that this is a 2, that 2 of these answers will be correct. All right. Well, let's see then.
Oh.
Yeah, the actual answer is all of them. He did do all of them.
You did it. You did it.
I did.
That is a hell of a career.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Schindler's List was like 2 years later. Like he was fresh off of Cool as Ice and somehow got the gig for Schindler's List. He was very good. He's done so many movies, and I wonder if he ever tells anybody about the time he spent working on Cool as Ice. But I want to go back and watch it again, just so I can see if I can see the similarities between Saving Private Ryan and Cool as Ice.
Follow his development as a cinematographer.
I feel like he won't, but but who knows?
Probably not. But that is our what the facts for this week. 646 guy is crushing it as always with these. One of these days I'm gonna get him. Keep watching. I will get you next week. I will try and come up with something that is impossible.
I'm gadget.
So you know the answer. Cool, which brings us then to our Would You Rathers. As soon as I figure out all the right buttons for that. Heather, you wanna get us going?
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see. Our first Would You Rather. Would you rather be functionally immortal when underwater or be able to fly, but you age twice as fast during flight? Oh, okay. Great. Julia, which of those two things would you prefer?
Assuming that so immortality only in water.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'll pick that one because I could, more or less live my life as is, but I could, whenever I wanted to, I could just walk into the sea and spend time there until things stopped seeming quite so bizarre.
Yeah.
This maybe says more than I care to reveal about my inner life, but
I think that's fair. Dustin, what about you?
Okay, so I'm torn about this because it says immortal, but it doesn't say, like, if the pure definition of immortal is that you're unkillable, that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't age. So, like, in theory, you would age normally, but then you'll just be like a 400-year-old person underwater and be like stuck underwater because the minute you came up, you'd be like $400 and you would just melt and die. So, like, I mean, I guess that's a lot. I mean, I don't know. Like, it feels like that would be a really rough life because then you just be stuck underwater, like, all the time. But you can just end it whenever you want. I mean, I guess the underwater one, but I don't know that I would want to be like a 300-year-old person just at the bottom of the ocean, just being old. But I guess if it gives me the freedom to choose life or whatever, I'm gonna go with that. But it feels real weird. I do very much want to fly, but then I also don't want to like die early. I don't know. This one's a weird one, which I admit.
It is.
I was
You're the one who wrote it.
I know, but yeah, I'm gonna go with immortal underwater. For the record, I didn't write it. I found it, and I decided that it would be a fun one for us to do.
So chat is with both of you, and I am also going to be with both of you because what good is flying if you age twice as fast during flying? You can only take like 3 or 4 flights and then you're dead. Like, there's no point. It's not a useful skill. Like, I can fly, but I'm going to age twice as fast every time I fly. Like during the flight, it's no point. So I would pick immortal underwater. Also, because that way I could like see,
like Superman level speed of flight.
Right. That's a good
you're
point.
only actually flying for like 4 seconds at a time.
Right. I was assuming it's like airplane fast. So, if you're going anywhere far, it's still going to take a while and you're just aging the whole time.
Yeah, but there's sometimes when you're just like out in the city and you're just like, I just want to be home and I don't want to deal with the subway. And like, if I fly, I can be home in like 15 minutes. And then you're like, I'll lose half an hour later.
Nah.
Like,
Nah. Plus,
Okay.
the cool thing about Immortal Underwater is like you could see all the cool sea creatures, and you'd know that they wouldn't be able to like kill you. So like you could hang out with sharks, and they won't kill you.
true. They could tear you up and then you'll heal, I guess.
Yeah,
Like, it could-
you're immortal,
it could
so
go bad.
yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Do we have any opinion? It seems like chat's going with Underwater.
Everyone in
as well.
chat was with Immortal. It's a
All right.
clean sweep.
All right. Cool. Julia, you're up.
All right. Oh shoot. I don't have the rundown in front of me.
I can bring it up. I can. I'll
Thank
just
you.
bring up the answers.
I can. Oh, that's right. This was the babysitting one.
Yeah.
Yes. Which of these would you rather babysit? Baby Groot or Baby Yoda?
Who do you want? Who do you want to toss it to?
I'm gonna toss to Heather.
I don't know enough about Baby Groot, so I'm gonna go with Baby Yoda for that reason. Although I assume that Baby Yoda would be probably difficult to babysit, given what we have seen of Baby Yoda. But I'm still gonna go with Baby Yoda just because I don't know. I don't know the other one. I'm not familiar with that franchise.
Okay. Sorry. I mean, Baby Groot's adorable. You should see.
I know what
Like-
I know what it looks like. Like I know what it is, and it's super cute. But because I don't know its like powers and stuff and like what it does,
Mm.
I feel like I can't make an uninformed choice.
Okay. He's just like a little tree guy. He's adorable.
Cool.
So you're going with Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm gonna go with Baby Groot. Just I feel like he's a little bit more like, I don't know if harmless is the right word. Like I'd be intimidated by Baby Yoda's force powers, even though he's super cute. Like I very much want to hang out with both. But I don't know, Baby Groot seems like more like loving in some way. Like Baby Yoda's a little bit standoffish. So I feel like I would want to hang out with Baby Groot, and they're both super cute. So you can't go wrong here. But I'm gonna go Baby Groot. How about you, Julia?
Yeah, I'm with you on Baby Groot. I would if I'm babysitting Baby Groot, I would love to have him have a play date with Heather's Baby Yoda. I feel like I would love to hang out with Baby Yoda for like an hour or two,
Mhm.
and then I don't know. I don't know. I live with cats, and I just feel like telekinesis is going to be that, but like way worse. Just like jumping up on things, or you know, I don't know, opening the refrigerator and
Knocking
throwing
things
food
over.
around or whatever.
Yeah.
And Topping, you are correct. It is Grogu and not Baby Yoda, but like it's Baby Yoda.
No, his name
You
is
do.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Like I get what you're saying, but he's Baby Yoda. Yeah. Grogu might eat the cats. That is true.
Grogu Alf?
No, I mean Grogu eat like the you know, like the eggs like from a species that was dying out and stuff like that. Like he just put stuff in his mouth.
Yeah, that's right. Baby
you don't-
Grogu committed genocide.
Yeah.
Right. Mm.
Yeah. Baby Groot did not do that. Although he helped blow up a planet. So I guess technically. Yeah.
Alf stood for alien life
It was a
form.
bad
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah, see, we know
Yes,
stuff too.
chat. Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah.
Sick versus Sky.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so we got two Groots and a Yoda. Is that what we're going with?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
That's what they call a full house in poker, right? Two Groots and Yoda.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the Joy couldn't. Joy is unable to watch tonight just because I don't think she could make a choice here. I think it would devastate her to have
She'd
to
be
choose
angry.
between the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
This person would not be able to make it into this because they're very new and we haven't seen very much of them. But if you've watched the Muppet Mayhem thing on Disney Plus, where it's following along with the band, there's a shot of Baby Animal, which is also super fucking adorable. I would very much
I feel like
also want
Baby
to
Animal and Baby Yoda would be. I don't want to say equally destructive, but both very destructive.
Right? No, they would get into lots and lots of trouble together. They would be awful influences on each other.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I would.
I mean, I guess they're actually they could. Yeah, it's all Disney properties, right? So
Right, they could all
they
three
could,
of
in
those
fact,
can hang
have
out.
Have a all babies crossover.
Yeah, and I would watch the shit out of that. That would be amazing. I mean, assuming that Disney is watching, which I'm sure they are.
Oh yeah, we're on their list.
Yeah, then please make that happen. You'll make all of the money in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
they're Baby Maggie, from The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Just keep going. Just throw everything with a baby in front of it, and you're good.
That's right. I mean, and bring back Muppet Babies, damn it.
Yeah. Have you guys watched the Muppet Mayhem thing?
Mm-mm.
I've seen the first, I think 2, maybe 3 episodes.
Okay.
I'm digging it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for me, like it's just for Animal. Like I'm just so in love with Animal's reactions to everything that ever happens that I will keep watching the shit out of it because it's super cute. Joy and I are very much in love with Animal saying anything and doing anything at all. But it's just Muppets are fun. Even as an adult, Muppets are fun. I enjoy seeing it. I mean, I feel like the problem with the show is the human actors. The human actors are not as
like that happens a lot.
As compelling. So, okay.
I don't know. I love the idea of. My wife and I were talking about this when we were watching it. Like, how many of the guest stars that show up like were the ones calling Disney or whatever, like, I need to be in this show.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
just imagining, like, I don't know, Billy Corgan's agent being like, Billy feels very strongly that he would be a great addition to the.
Did you get to the episode where I think it's like Ben Schwartzman or whatever, like, is trying to get Animal a job?
I have not seen that one yet.
There's an episode where basically, like, it's like a 2-person scene with Animal and another actor, and they're just like fighting over him getting a job. And I couldn't help but think that, like, that was that guy's best day at work ever. Just like fighting with a Muppet. He's got to be like just like, I'm getting paid for today. It's crazy. I'm getting paid to fight with a Muppet. That's fucking amazing. So I want that job. I guess again, Disney, if you're watching, and you want to, like, whatever Muppet you want to send, we will have as a guest on the show. So just you guys pick the Muppet, and we will have them on the show. All right, let's get to our third one, which comes to me. Our third one, I never remember what the question is until I see the answers. Okay, yes, there we go. Would you rather be forced for, like, let's just say for like a year?
So what's with the theme this week?
I don't know. It just so happened.
There's a lot of references.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just so happened. We never reference Hitler ever, but it just happened. Like, I could not find a third one.
This was the week.
And
right.
this one
Thank
was just.
I appreciate that you decided to associate.
Yeah, to make it. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was like, "Hey, Julia, come do this show. It's really fun." And this is
fun,
yeah,
Right.
it'll be fun.
But again, none of them are pro. It's all it's all anti. But
until you choose this option.
Can we?
Right.
I don't know, can we say now that the official position of the Super Important Show is that Hitler was bad?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I definitely think we can. Right. Yeah. I don't.
Absolutely.
I wish that was a less controversial statement than it seems to be these days.
True.
Yeah. I just want to be clear that was never really, like, in question. Like, we were not debating what our stance on Hitler was. It was always bad. But yeah. But now, yeah, it is official. If anybody does want to quote us on it. So my question to you, assuming in this case that you are dudes, I guess, because having either of these things are a little bit rougher.
I'm just gonna put it down right now. I will take a 12-foot beard. I will be a lady with a 12-foot beard. That sounds like it would freaking rule.
Okay, so you're gonna go.
Have you seen the beard growing competitions that they have? It's ridiculous. I would totally take the 12-foot beard.
I would lose my friggin' mind with a 12-foot beard just because I when I grow out any more than this, I start getting itchy and, like, mad. So I'm not gonna make an answer yet, but I know that your answer is 12-foot beard. Heather, what are you going with?
I mean, neither of these things are fun, I don't think, but I'm obviously not going with the mustache. So 12-foot beard.
Okay, you're going 12-foot beard.
And I feel like I'd find ways to make it fun.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I
put glitter in it or something.
Yeah, I feel like I got to go with 12-foot beard for the same reason. But a 12-foot beard is remarkably inconvenient. It is like everything's going to get stuck in it. There's just going to constantly be like food that's just like there for a week. Unless you're like,
I don't know. I feel like if you braid it, and I mean, it's long enough that you just, when you're eating, just throw it over your shoulder or whatever.
True. Yeah. If you make it like into a rope, then like I guess,
and it can help you escape from a burning building. Tie one into the windowsill and rappel down.
That's true. I was thinking of it purely in ZZ Top kind of, character. Like I was just assuming that it was all wide. But yeah, I think once you're tying it there, then 12-foot beard makes a ton of sense because you can just like it doesn't have to exist as 12 feet from your body. It can be 12 feet of hair, but you can tie a little like bow or something like that right there. So it's heavy and annoying, but it's not, I guess that's the way to go. So, but anyway, that's our last one for today, guys. Which brings us to the end of our show. Julia, thank you so much for joining us. And thanks for the cat for continuing to say hello. Julia, where can people see more about what you got going on?
So let's see. I'm on Twitter at Lediva, Lediva. I'm on Instagram as Lediva Cat, all one word. And I have my own Mastodon server. If people know what that is, Mastodon, the Fediverse, and etc. It's like Twitter, but way nerdier, and also far fewer Nazis, which is definitely a big plus.
Definitely a good thing.
And the address there is Lediva at lediva.masto.host because I was not feeling particularly creative when I named it.
Cool. And you're performing with you guys are both from Red Shirts. You guys are performing with Red Shirts again soon?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We've got a show coming up June 4th. We'll be at Pit Loft celebrating National Pet Your Cat Day, as Heather is hereby demonstrating.
Yeah, is actively doing at the moment. Cool. Heather, what do you got coming up?
Same as Julia. Yeah, June 4th, National Hug Your Cat Day. Rufus will not be at the show, but Rufus will be, inspiring the show.
Why not? Sure. Why not? Of any show, shouldn't that be the one? Shouldn't it be the one?
I don't really think he wants to leave the house. I think he's happy where he is. Yep.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I think you should ask him, but that's cool. And if you are looking for me on the socials, then you can find me at DDADD8TO on Instagram. And you can find us at Super Important Stuff on Instagram. And then if you're looking for me at a show, I don't have one booked right now. So book me on your show because I would like to be on your show because I can be funny sometimes. I just had a fun show at QED last night where I talked about the first dance that I went to when I was 13 and the awful, horrible person that I went with. And I did not have a good time. But sometimes that happens. Which brings us, guys, to the end of our show. Thank you all so much for watching. Julia, thanks for being an amazing guest. And Heather, I am right that we are off next week? I messed it up last time? Okay.
No, you're correct.
We are off next week, but we will see you after that. And have a wonderful evening.